Yes, yes. Here we are once again. The High Noon Hemp Show with Beach every Wednesday on the Temptations Beach page on the old Facebook machine, noon Eastern time. I'm, of course, Joe Clare, and from Hemp Quarters, the man himself on this beautiful Gatewood Galbraith day. Well, it's not really beautiful outside, it's beautiful inside.
Yes, it's beautiful inside.
Beach, live from Hemp Quarters. How are things, Beach?
Things are great coming to you high above the Sharonville location on the High Noon Hemp Show. That is correct, folks. Welcome. It must be Wednesday at noon. It's not the first Wednesday, or we'd be hearing the alarms going off because that's something that they do here in Ohio when they test the systems. But it is noon, and as my partner in crime over there, the man who pushes the buttons, makes everything happen, Joe said, it is the Gatewood Galbraith Day episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. Jumping right into that, if you don't know anything about Gatewood, here's just a tiny little synopsis. In 1997, so this would have been 2 years after we opened, he began a 6-year journey driving from Bowling Green to Lexington to practice as a pro bono attorney in the first felony medical marijuana defense case in the United States.
Wow.
Again, this went on for 6 years until the judge on an appeal put a stay on the case, which basically means it was done. And so I believe, I guess that means the charges are dropped. I don't know the legal stuff, but the person was, facing, I think 5 or 6 felony charges. And again, Gateway went to getting, and that was, that was roughly when I met Gateway as well. He authored a book called The Last Man in America Meets the Synthetic Subversion, which we had in the stores for a little while. I have an autographed copy somewhere. Gatewood and I shared a stage about 20 years ago at one of the rallies downtown. Man, I tell you, it was, he had a passion for the truth and our rights, and not just our constitutional rights, because he was a whiz at those, but human rights. He argued as much for human rights as he did for constitutional rights in courtrooms. And that's what I admired the most about him, because not only was he fighting for cannabis, whether it was for personal use or hemp, and he educated a lot of people on the difference between hemp and personal use in the state of Kentucky over the years. He ran for multiple offices, including the governor 5 times. So he ran for governor of Kentucky 5 times. 3 times, I think, actually on as a Democrat, and then 1 time as an independent, 1 time maybe with the Libertarian Party or another party. And so, he put himself out there on all his beliefs. He was, I wrote something on the websites today, and, we have a sale in the store celebrating everything that he did or has done and did before he passed away for cannabis. Willie Nelson said, Gatewood Galbraith was a good friend and a tireless advocate for the repeal of the ridiculous ban on hemp and marijuana. His book, The Last Man Standing, says it all. He was a national, not just a hero to us in Kentucky, but a national hero for cannabis. It's him and Jack are, wherever they are, hopefully, knowing that all that work they put in tirelessly for all those years is coming true. Gatewood was a special human, and if you ever heard him speak live, you knew, man, he was passionate and he was a genius, man. He had it. He knew it. He was inside. And you know, he was a radical because his voice was so loud and so smart and so, not to the masses, but yet it spoke to the people. You know, he spoke to the people, and he was educated in ways, but still spoke to them in like he was down home folk too. You know what I mean? Because he was always down home folk. You know, there was he never lost that either. In all the years that he did what he did and was what he was, you know, he never believed he was special. He never believed, you know, that you know, he needed to be honored or any of those things, I don't think. And he was honored plenty and will continue to be honored and never forgotten for everything that he did and has done for cannabis. And so, you know, kudos to his memory and everything that Gatewood has done over the years. Today is Gatewood's birthday, and so that's why it's Gatewood Galbraith Day in the stores. I try to remember that, at least try to remember. I mean, not that I don't think of him all the time, because we shared a lot of memories on the stage. We shared some memories just sitting on the couch. And so, again, just above and beyond when it comes to being a hemp warrior, a defender, an educator, and a father. He had 3 daughters. He has 3 daughters that survive, and you know, they're out there doing their thing. And so, again, happy Gatewood Galbraith Day. Get into Hemptations, enjoy a little discount store wide, and we'll see a little bit more kind of Gatewood later in the show. And so, again, if you want to give us the old best of vote on City Beat, I believe they're still taking votes on the best of City, Cincinnati.com, citybeat.com, best of. You can vote for us for our we are the reigning champs in the smoke tobacco shop category and are nominated for the green sustainable goods. And so
Today,
I think
for both.
There it goes. I think my headphone wasn't working, so I might have been ignoring you, but not on purpose.
Oh no, I'm fine. I'm here.
I can hear you again. I got to rambling about Gatewood, and I was like, man, he's awful quiet over there. And then I'm like, I think my headphones. Anyway, back on track. Green Sustainable Goods Store as well, which makes me very proud. I would love to place in the top 3 in the Green Sustainable Goods Store category in the best of City Beat magazine.
Yes. Vote every day. We remind you, of course, on the old Facebook as well.
It's true.
About going to vote.
It's true.
Defend the title, crush the competition, you know,
do what we can,
that type of stuff. And of course, YouTube, by the way, the first full season of the High Noon Hemp Show is now on YouTube. So if you're looking for a gift for someone for Valentine's Day and you don't want to spend any money at all, you can get them the complete first season of the High Noon Hemp Show. Get the playlist, you know, wrap it. I don't know, make a meme, send it, email it, whatever.
Whatever you need to do or want to do.
For those of you who want something free for your loved one on Valentine's Day, there's really no better gift than the full first season
of YouTube. I would binge watch that.
Yes.
Binge watched that on YouTube.
Sit down with your loved one and just watch 12 episodes of the High Noon Hemp Show. I can't think of anything more romantic or better for Valentine's Day. Maybe other people can.
You know, it's could be a little awkward, but I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it. Because,
of course, those of you who are not,
you know, we're rocking in
a free playlist gift. Hemptations.com locations, you actually get something that's actually meaningful and worthwhile. And don't give someone something that is free. Of course, we were just joking on Valentine's Day. That would be the one-way ticket to riding the couch for quite a while.
Right. Unless you made it. And I don't know if that's considered free if you make something. I guess you have to buy whatever you make it out of.
You could buy something from Temptations and then give them that and the first season of the High Noon Hemp Show. And
Well,
it's a whole big
there's a
production.
lead in if I've ever heard one right there. You give them the gift and then you say, hey, let's
By the
watch
way.
the High Noon Hemp Show. I love it.
This romantic idea.
This is some, the evil plot continues.
Just some ideas for Valentine's Day.
And that evil
Still
face
2 weeks
was
away.
pretty evil, too. And for those of you that have been concerned, and I know are worried about it, we do have the CBD gum, back in stock. And so, happy days for the gum back in stock. I know we've all been waiting, and we even have a backup brand coming soon. That being said, let's move on up or down to the stores, to the product spotlights.
Indeed.
4 from the store, 1 from my door, as I like to say. The first from the store, we've been carrying these guys for quite a while. I definitely have some Dash Hemp in my closet. And so, excuse me, I think these are a pair of jeans, obviously. And they have some other wares in and around the stores that you can find. Again, they have been around for a long time, making the goods out of hemp. And so we got a lot of respect for what they do. I'm sure you can find more of their stuff online as well if you can't find what you like in the stores from them. The next ones are brand spanking new. In fact, not even in the stores, but will be in the stores by Friday. Are these hemp skateboards. These are complete skateboard decks. They are...
I'm not getting the picture. The picture's not coming over. That's annoying.
Oh my. Well, we have two new complete there they are. Hey.
That way. Well, the other way
right.
for some reason.
Interesting. And so, yeah, right. Basically what you've got going on here, the one on the left is using Canadian maple and hemp. And again, it's basically a layer of hemp. Skateboards have multiple layers of very thin wood or plastic or other materials, depending on how they're really stacking them. It's usually just wood, and then the one on the left is actually using hemp fiber material as one of those layers, which I would only assume would give it more flexibility and lightness, but still be able to keep some of that strength that you want in the board. And so again, these will be in the stores, all the stores by Friday. They just came in. I was very excited to see them. Wow. And so I look forward to getting those on the shelf for everybody. The next company is also pretty new, or really new, but very popular, and that's the Just CBD products, the Just CBD gummies. I think these guys have a good blend. I just saw them in actually like a national article, not related to us at all, on a list of some of the best CBD products out there. And I try to find the ones that aren't sponsored by a certain company and are all the same company. These guys were just on a random list, and it just so happens that we do carry them as well. And so I think they're doing a good job. And again, the gummies are a very popular way for people to use the CBD because you know exactly what they're getting as a dosage. It's good transitionally because you want to chew that in your mouth and then let that absorb sublingually. And so again, these guys are pretty new to us, but they're very popular, I think, out in the rest of the world too. So that means they must be doing something right. Mm-hmm. And the last one is another line that we've had for quite a while, and that's the Miracle Oil line from Earthly Body. And this is a distinct blend of products called the Miracle Oil line. Again, we've been carrying Earthly Body products for a long time and carrying the Miracle Oil line for as long as they've probably been making that as well. And so, again, they've been around for as long can get and make great products. And I'm sure we'll continue to make great products as this hemp movement or market and industry and all those things move forward. So that's the 4 from the store, as I say, and the 1 from my door is one that we use on occasion when we get together to play cards. But these are actually Bicycle brand hemp cards. And so, I think they may be in the store in some of the stores, and I need to look and see what our inventory is. But I usually carry a pack of these around with me, and we've got a pack out with the card playing stuff. And when we get together and play cards for fun, not for money so much, but just fun. But we do play with this deck of cards that I love because they're made out of hemp. It is hemp paper. It's Bicycle brand, which if Cincinnati people don't know, is a local company, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still made in Cincinnati or not, but I know Bicycle Card Company came from Cincinnati, was in Cincinnati for a very long time, right off the highway down off 75, I believe, if I remember correctly, as a child, because I feel like they had their building had a big sign on the side of it. I think that was one of them. Anyway, so that's kind of fun, Cincinnati ties. It's a hemp product. I use them. They are part of my home collection of hemp goods, as I say, and so there you have it, folks. 4 from the store, 1 from my door. That is the product spotlights.
Indeed. Hemptations.com, of course, 4 locations. Get to the locations. If you can't, I hope you have a good excuse. It better be really good.
You might be in France.
Yes. Yes, out of the country is a good excuse.
Yes.
It brings us, of course, to no matter where you are, people enjoy this segment like none other. Because as Beach mentions, many people wake up every day and say, oh, man, it's Wednesday. I wonder, what are you wearing, Beach?
What are you wearing, Beach? And so we're gonna stick with a theme that I started last week. And if you're paying attention, you may already get the theme. And we're also there's 2 themes this week. One, sticking with last week's theme, which we will move on with for the next 5 or so episodes. The other is kind of a Gatewood look. If you notice the pictures that we posted about Gatewood earlier, he loves to wear a fedora. Almost, I cannot picture him in anything else but a fedora all the time. That was Gatewood. And so I've got my Hempies fedora on. My black sleeve, long sleeve button down Hemp Company shirt. And the picture on the right, I kind of switched it up a little bit. The picture on the right is kind of me trying to emulate Gatewood's casual look, which was usually a dress coat. He usually had a nice, not necessarily a suit coat, but a dress coat, and a button down shirt, and then a t-shirt underneath that. He'd unbutton a couple buttons, and that was his casual look. If not, he had a tie on and, looked like an attorney that also believed in cannabis. And so anyway, the t-shirt, the orange t-shirt, is the parental advisory shirt, contains hemp thing that we made up and have in the stores on occasion as well, printed here at Planet Everywhere. I've got my Kentucky Hemp Outfitters jeans for Gatewood, being a Kentucky guy, Kentucky man. And then the orange tie-dye socks made here, also on Planet Everywhere. So we dyed those socks. They originally came from Enviro Textiles, and they're just natural colored. And then we started dyeing stuff for a while. And so I ended up with a nice orange pair. And the Saucony shoes. And again, this is part of the Saucony vegan line using hemp in their goods. So if you woke up this morning and you were thinking, hey, I'm thinking of Gatewood Galbraith, and what is beach wearing? Now you know. There it is. For all of you to know. And I think by next week, if you've actually watched the last week's episode and today's and next week's, I think you'll know the theme. If you're really paying attention, you may already make an educated guess. The big theme. And so, of course, my headphones are acting a little jabberwocky. But now we move on. We don't have too much new news, honestly. Some events. I think the biggest new news, it's kind of working its way out at this point, is the issue that Facebook was having with CBD companies. And so they were shutting down a bunch of Facebook pages from CBD companies. It got so bad that I'm trying to think. There was a state official from Kentucky, a very high state official. I don't know if he was from the Department of Agriculture or some other something up in Kentucky, that he wrote a letter to Facebook, Zuckerberg or whatever, and said, this is absurd. And a lot of the Facebook pages are coming back up. And so I don't know if there's anybody out there still having an issue with their Facebook page being taken away because they're CBD. But you can fight it and get it back. And so they got educated, and I'm glad they did. It never affected us, but I think it's because we've been around for so long that they're not paying that much attention. I think they were looking for more new stuff, new websites, new Facebook pages.
But Facebook has really thwarted the burgeoning popularity of the show.
I know, right? They are doing nothing to help us get this show out there to the world.
It shows to 2% of the people who use the page.
So the struggle is real. Show. Yeah.
While we're
keep spreading the word, listeners and followers.
It comes to my mind when we're complaining. The City Beat Best of competition. I looked, and there was no category for video cast or podcast or any of that. Very
interesting.
Disappointing. I don't know who I can talk to or write an angry letter to, but I'll be looking into that.
I can't believe it. I feel like that there's nothing under like personalities or on the personality page or anything, huh? No.
I couldn't find.
Interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't find nothing that had to do with, like, I guess, internet broadcasting. I guess it's.
Well, we need to.
This is where it's at.
Yeah. Invent that category and then nominate us.
That's right. It's a lot of work. Get the category on.
Gotta get the category on. Right.
I'd rather just complain and then not do anything about it. So
yeah. There you go. We'll just keep doing what we're doing, hoping that the world is watching.
Our greatness with or without.
It sounds like you're breaking up out there, and I thought it was my headphones. But I'm getting word actually that your microphone is doing something funny, and so maybe it's not me. I think it's you.
Why, that would be.
Whoa! Hey, there we go. No, you're perfectly clear now. Whatever it was, you got it.
I don't know. I just pushed in this thing a little bit more.
And I just got these headphones. And so, okay. All right. There we go.
Okay, hopefully that's better. John and Darren in the chat. Let me know if that is better. I just pushed in the microphone cord a little harder. So
I think that's it, man.
My tech experience is coming through.
That's it. Good job. Make sure it's plugged in correctly. Number one.
Push on the cord a little
that's
harder.
better.
That's your
John says that's better. All right, so we'll go on. we'll keep going there. Everybody heard my voice, obviously. Okay, so that I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
You've got these international events, the Kathmandu event coming up, and the Poland event. Again, those are both February 1st and 2nd, and then February 21st and 23rd. Hemptoday.net if you're out in the world, in that part of the world, and you want to do that. February 25th, you have the Central U.S. Hemp Growers Conference and Expo in Rochester. NOCO at the end of March, March 29th through the 30th. You can go to NOCO Hemp Expo to get more information there. The National Hemp Expo in Louisville is in April, as well as a hemp building event in Ireland, actually, in April. And so the hemp building events in Ireland are April and May, and you can go to hempbuilding.com for those. In May, at the beginning of May, you've got Hemp on the Bayou at the old Jazz Fest. And so I'm going to look more into that and see what that's about. And that's really about all we got today, man. I feel like that was a very short show. Do we have any questions out there for the world? Anybody out there watching across the world have any questions?
I see that Darren is in Prague and saw some hemp beer over there.
Yeah. Awesome.
I noticed that
Man, I'd like to have some
kind of a thing that's becoming more popular.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The when I was down, well, again, it's been out for a little while, but New Belgium has the Hemperor, which I love. They call it an HPA instead of an IPA. And we're going to start seeing more companies come in with the hemp. I think what's really going to be interesting is we're going to see, I think the next beer company that jumps the shark, so to speak, is going to be a CBD, adding CBD to their beer. Now with the new Agricultural Act being signed, I think that could be a big thing. There's no doubt. It doesn't surprise me that Prague has hemp beer. They like beer over there. That's for sure, and I think they like hemp. Most of those, what they used to call the Eastern Bloc. I don't know what those European countries that were kind of on the edge of the Russia and China and those kind of countries and whatnot. I know they've all have their own identity, but I think most of them traditionally grow industrial hemp and look at the quality. We do have hemp beer. Darren just asked. We do have hemp beer again. New Belgium, the big name out in Colorado, and New Belgium was made famous, I believe, for Fat Tire. I think it was Fat Tire. And again, Fat Tire was like the hippies version of Coors because you could only get it in Colorado or out west. And so I remember everybody talking about bringing a case of Fat Tire back to Cincinnati because they were out in Colorado. And that was a big thing 20 years ago, was to bring Fat Tire beer back from Colorado. And so it somehow, that really made it, that made New Belgium. I think that was was what was the start of New Belgium really making it for, kind of a small beer in Colorado. And currently, yes, they do have a hemp beer called the Hemperor that is available at your local beer stores out there in the world and probably on draft if you know where to go to get it on draft.
Would that be something that ever be available at Hemptations? Would you need to get a liquor license for that? How does all that work?
We would have to get a liquor license for that. Ironically, that's a great question. I have a liquor license available in Sharonville, and I'm thinking very hard about picking it up because there's also a line of hemp wines.
Oh.
And Darren, I want Darren to laugh with all the Frenchness that's in him when I say hemp wine because he wouldn't drink it to save his life because it's the furthest thing from wine. It is more like a cocktail. I don't know how to describe the hemp wine that we have. It's more like a cocktail drink flavored kind of wine-ish. They do. It's a company out of Texas, and they do kind of more like a mixed drink flavors with their flavors too. So there is more than one. And Abita, don't get me wrong, Abita had a beer, a hemp beer, way before a lot of other companies. I remember being downtown in Cincinnati for a beer fest. I don't know how long ago it was, 5-8 years ago. And Abita's beer booth had a hemp beer. And so the hemp beer thing is not really new. It's just now gaining enough popularity that national suppliers are going to get into that game. And I keep telling the Cincinnati people, man, nothing is hotter in Cincinnati right now than locally freshly made brew. And I've been telling anybody that would listen at these companies for the last 5 years, I'm like, do it, get in on it. Not only is it great shtick just because Temptations has been here building you that backing, but it's just, just do it. And so, yes, we have hemp beer, and we will start seeing more hemp beer. Now, of course, we're starting to, I think the CBD thing is going to be interesting, because I think we're going to start seeing soft drinks, national soft drink companies that are going to add CBD to their products. And I think if that happens, then we're definitely going to see national beer companies that are going to come along and add CBD to their beer. I will predict that wholeheartedly as a future hemp market. Everybody's complaining now because all these big names are getting into the hemp game, and I'm like, that was kind of my plan all along. Not necessarily with the CBD, but if we can get any big company to use hemp for any reason in their product, and then that's the goal. That's the overall goal. So we can only hemp and hops. Just so you know, if the question of the day is how closely are they related, well, they are in the same family, I believe. Family Cannabiciae. And I have no idea if that's being pronounced correctly, but basically you have that, and then you have hops over here, and then you have cannabis over here, and so they are very close to each other. When it comes to plant world as it is. And I think that's, again, why it's, hops as a bud, and I think that's why there's so many different flavors of hops. Begin again because I think that they can, breed it and get a certain this out of this hops or a certain this out of this hops. And so, combining the two somehow, that'll be the next thing. We'll see somebody that's genetically combined by splicing, or, I suppose if some evil company is going to get involved with genetic splicing, they'll be taking like a hops gene and putting it in a cannabis gene, or vice versa, somehow, to have their own unique special thing. I don't want to give anybody any evil ideas. Let's continue to genetically modify plants with breeding naturally, not splicing. I don't know. I'm still on the fence with all that stuff, to be honest with you, because I believe that I am a human of science as much as I am a human of nature, and so that's very tough when you are talking about things like gene splicing and whatnot. So anyway, and we're already seeing in the hemp industry, well, people are worried about that, and there is no reason to gene splice industrial hemp, in my opinion. If gene splicing starts to take place in the cannabis world, it will be for personal use or possibly CBD. But we'll see how all that works out, because again, it's new stuff, old stuff, all kind of coming together. It's the brand new 10,000-year-old industry, as I like to say. And so with that, folks, I've stretched it out. I've added a bonus 5 or 7 minutes just rambling on subjects that I hope you thought were interesting today on the High Noon Hemp Show. I am Beach. He is Joe. I like to say reduce, reuse, recycle, make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See y'all next week.